dissemination workshop. We're here today on the theme of enhancing graduate employability, linking learning with practice, a very innovative learning model which we are recommending for full adoption.
In order for us to be able to produce graduates who are ready for the market, one of them is that we have to inculcate within them some entrepreneurial skills. By imparting entrepreneurial skills to students and even the staff, the academic staff, doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to be starting businesses. But those entrepreneurial skills, you can be an entrepreneur even within an organization.
So, our daughter Marisa asked me, Dad, what are you doing today at KCA University? And I said, we are going to start with a function on learning and design lab. Then she told me, what's that? So let me stop there. Our mission as KCA, we are a creative, and I like the word creative. We are a creative business and technology university that trains market-ready and employable graduates. Have you checked that, Dr. Nyaribo? Creative, the word creative. So whatever we are doing here, whatever we are witnessing here, is part and parcel of learning and design. It is anchored not only in the vision of KCA University, but also in the mission of KCA University. The history of design labs, I'm sure you are all aware, dates back to the 1940s.
And some of your successes to the wider sector, both in Kenya and overseas. And I hope that you are maintaining some of the linkages with partners overseas from the Innovation of African Universities, for example. I know we have a very vibrant community of practice on that. So again, kind of how do you take some of your lessons, successes, and share them beyond, so that you as an institution are part of that systemic transformation that's taking place in the higher education sector. And I think that's where the individuals in this room play such an important role, because you become agents of change. Some of the teaching staff, we have deans in the room today, is what is your role when you've tried and tested a new way of working? What is your role to take that message to other colleagues internally, to other universities in Kenya? And how do you recognize that you have a wider role to play? And I think last but not least, I just want to speak to the students. And I was very privileged to meet some of the students during the Innovation for African Universities program. We have a couple of usual suspects here I've seen for a long time, and I'm really proud to see you still fighting a good fight. Great to hear about the new students who've been awarded in the mini lab. The transition to adulthood that you are going through is very different from my process and how I became an adult. And the world in which I became an adult is very different than the world in which you have to manage the expectations, the uncertainties, so on and so forth. And what we are hoping through this project is that your alma mater, your university is equipping you with a different way of thinking, so that you are better suited to transition into adulthood and to transition into a world of work that is changing at such an incredibly fast pace that we can't prepare for it. So all we can do is use initiatives like these and support your university to equip you with skills and competencies that will best prepare you for that emerging, fast-changing world of work.
When you finish school, you ask yourself, now where do I start? And the genesis of a business is the problem that you are solving, yeah? So then the lab provides you with that platform to understand which is the starting point, how do I identify the right problem to solve, and how do I build an innovative product or service from that. The other element is about the partnership between industry and higher education institutions, and what is common is that the industry provides attachments, internships, they do come for career fairs, and once in a while maybe you do co-creative programs together. However, there is more beyond that, and the lab is an additional avenue of engaging more with the industry. On Monday, we attended the opening of the innovation lab at the Innovation Hub at the town campus. And Odipo, who was one of the panelists, said that he challenged Rotich to think about the Innovation Hub as a hub of problems where the industry partner can bring the different problems that they are facing, and they can trust that the KCA students can work together through that co-creative approach to provide solutions for them. So then that demonstrates how the lab transcends beyond imparting skills, but also ensuring that there is that partnership. Then the human-centered design and the beauty of it, I think for us at Circle Innovation, it's our way of life, not only in implementing programs, but also how we operate within an organization. And it does allow you or demand you to be open-minded and very adaptable. And also, in that sense, then it puts you at a better position to develop innovative, disruptive solutions.
So the industry impact was quite realistic. By realistic, I mean we were immersed into the reality of how things work. So naturally, if you innovate and think about changing systems, you tend to design systems on your own sandbox. So you're in a lab, you're in your laptop, you're with your research papers, you think that's how things need to flow. But then when we got to the industry, you get that the challenges are not as clear as they sound to be. They're a little bit entangled. There's a lot of complexity among the members that need to make sure that the puzzles are moving. So it was quite a good experience sitting down and understanding how to collaborate with different aspects of the puzzle as a team, so that we're able to make sure that there's adoption of solutions.
So I think I'll start this reflection by saying something or echoing something that Elon Musk mentioned, is that sometimes engineers or people who are in software engineering and all these other engineering fields end up bringing solutions for problems that should not exist. I want to start there because this is very important in understanding the learning and design labs and why it was so impactful to how we should think about problems in general. So the learning and design lab, I think, from what the rest have said, it was a combination program for us, or rather from the side of me as a student at KCA. There was a call done, we did interviews, and then we were told, okay, this is going to be something in climate. So that was the thing. Climate change, circular economy, and let's think about how climate tech works. So that's the idea that I came into the learning and design labs with.
Beatrice from KCA University and was able to attend the Learning and Design Challenge April last year. We were divided to mini groups, which was quite beneficial, and during that, the actual problem solving were not solving problems as strangers as we had interacted before. One thing that was quite great is the fact that they were from different disciplines. From the mini groups, you could see that backgrounds in tech, engineering, and different thoughts from different scopes.
Education must also evolve faster than the problems that we are trying to solve. The LDL model embodies the principle that learning must start with empathy, be grounded in the context, and also end up in action.
I would like to ask you, what were the most transformative insights from the Learning Design Lab project, and how should these insights shape the future of curriculum development?
In order for us to expose our students to the realities of the job market, we've got to bring this reality to the classroom. And that's what we did with LDL. But the key thing, we want our students to be exposed to this reality so that now they are able to deal with problems. Move away from the traditional setting where we are not, what we are teaching in class is totally disconnected with what is the reality out there. We want them our students to see that and bring that to the classroom so that now when they are getting out, they actually are aware what is out there.
That's what I've gotten from this learning and design lab and this challenge-based learning in general, that the teacher is not the monopoly, so that students are actually co-creators of knowledge. So that we work with the students, they become co-creators of knowledge, but more importantly, they actually sharpen the ability of students to become problem solvers and therefore bridge the gap between the student and the market. And therefore, that's the one way to build the students. Yes, what came from the build-up is protected. We're still carrying forward. Now we'll be calling you in the months ahead to be able to see how we can carry them forward in the incubation center. Thank you very much.
How do we balance between skills and competencies that prepare young people for the world of work, which very often involves the ability to set up new enterprises. Often it just involves your ability to secure a job in an already existing enterprise in public or private sector. But how we balance that, I guess, with what's needed in terms of social impact as well. And I do understand, you made a comment about kind of how do we reposition and change the narrative and perhaps move away from talking about employability to talking more specifically around monetizing and commercialization. And I just want to put a challenge to all of us that in the world of tomorrow, yes, we need the money, but we need more than just money. I think we need bright minds who can solve not just economic problems, but also social problems. And I'm really pleased to hear that some of the follow-up work you've done is looking at that potential social impact and addressing a lot of the welfare issues that exist.
To respond in aspects now when as Circle Innovation, when it comes now to the facilitation, and one of the challenges that we saw, a lot of times when you take students or young people or anyone, even corporates in the process of human-centered design and looking at having a challenge in front of you and creating an innovation based on a challenge that maybe our industry is facing, a lot of people think any innovation has to be tech-based. You see, so there's always that mindset that people get that when you think about an innovation, it has to be tech. So it has to be an application of some sort. It has to do something to do with smartphones or anything like that. That is a challenge that we saw. And then now moving forward in other learning labs, we want now to create a change of mindset in the sense of that an innovation doesn't have to be an application, and innovation doesn't have to be anything that has to be used even like in smartphones. It can be policy-based, and innovation can be something which is policy-based, can be program-based or project-based. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that aspect. Thanks.
And I would like to end with a key comment that was made by Monica, that we do not projectize our operations. Which means if we projectize, once the project is over, it is done. And we are on what did we learn from that project that can help us transform the situation that we are in. With that one, I thank our panelists again and members of the audience for your contribution. And with that, let's applaud the panelists for the good job and insight that we got.